You're listening to Built to Convert, the podcast where growth-minded marketers, founders, and creators come to level up. No hype, no guesswork, just bold insights that drive results. Let's go.
Hey everyone, I'm Tyler Lane, founder of Session Interactive and the host of Built to Convert. The show dives into how great companies grow through strategy, data, and marketing that actually moves the needle. This episode is brought to you by Session Interactive. We help brands grow by turning messy data into disconnected channels into clear, actionable strategy. Whether it's SEO, paid search, analytics, or content, our team helps marketers make smarter decisions and drive better results. Learn more at Session Interactive. All right, it's excited today. Everyone says that as podcast hosts, right? They're excited, but Brad Smith here, ladies and gentlemen. Brad is someone I've known and really respected for a long time. He helped me start Session Interactive. He helped really guide a lot of things, and actually, people don't know this, but helped write actually some of the initial content on the website. Shout out to Brad. Brad's the CEO of Codeless, content marketing agency. He's also the co-founder of Usurp, a PR and digital PR and link building agency, and he owns a company called Wordable. We'll talk about all three of those companies. His team have driven massive results for companies like Monday.com, Gong, Robinhood, you name it. We're talking tens of thousands of on-page rankings, scalable content ops, and real ROI. It's really impressive what Brad's been able to accomplish. Brad, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Tyler. Such a pleasure to be here. I'm a little sad I wasn't guest number one, but that's fine.
Exactly. Yeah, we'll scratch all those and we'll place you as number one.
Or put me as number 0, so I show up like before
exactly.
everybody else.
Yeah, zero click searches. Yeah.
It's all about gaming the rankings, bro. It's all about gaming the rankings.
Yeah, it's good to see you, man. So you're moved the family out to Hawaii, Kauai specifically. Pretty interesting story there. But let's talk more about your journey a little bit. You know, I need to start from square one. But what have you been up to the last few years? Obviously, you're invested and heavily involved in 3 different companies. One very different company than the other 2. Talk to me about the journey, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, for sure. So I started in digital marketing a long time ago, like 15 to 20 years ago. I was actually a finance major in school and working with my dad's real estate company. Real estate, especially commercial real estate, is kind of still like this, but whatever, especially 15, 20 years ago, it was very much like old boys club where you landed deals by golfing with a bunch of other old white guys. And as a college student, that wasn't really my game. So I was like, well, how else can you get customers? And then started getting into SEO and rebuilding his website. And then started also realizing, oh, this is way more fun than sitting and talking to a bunch of superintendents all day and poring over estimated costs for crap that I didn't care about, and a bunch of other nerdy stuff like that. So I started to, from there, kind of jumped into a couple little random local companies, helping them out with similar types of stuff, like rebuilding their website, super basic SEO and social back in the day. Then got a proper kind of full-time job because I was getting married, and apparently your spouse wants to see that you have any ability to make money and support a family at one point. And then after doing that for just a little while, the number of referrals and other people that I was working with at that point started to snowball a little bit. That's when I jumped into kind of full-time, random local SEO and local social media and local ad buying and PPC and all that other kind of stuff. Probably where a lot of people start as well.
Mm-hmm. And then, fast forward, obviously that's where you started. And then you have obviously a ton of background, a lot of credibility in the content space. I know you're featured on a lot of top blogs, syndication networks, things like that. When did you form Codeless? Talk to me about that one. And then did Usurp follow? Was that before? Was it a spinoff? And then, talk to me quickly about Wordable too.
For sure. Yeah, there was no long-term vision at all. It was just see if I can make a little bit more money, work with cooler clients. Especially early on, I was working with every type of client you could possibly think of, like literally anyone with a pulse that was willing to give me a paycheck. So insurance, personal injury attorneys, landscaping companies, termite, pest control companies, like super random. I started Codeless probably officially like 12 years ago, roughly 11, 12 years ago, with a partner. We were kind of doing website development and design in addition to like performance-based marketing. During that time and while we were trying to figure that out, I was also just writing for free for a lot of publications because nobody knew who I was. I didn't know anybody else. I had no reputation. I had no credibility. And I was trying to just kind of like establish that and build it. Over time, what I found out though, was that like, oh, companies are willing to actually pay me to write this, not just try to pimp all the other crap that we do too. And that's where like the light started clicking a little bit, because I started to realize this thing I like doing already and I'm pretty good at and know a lot about could actually be the main thing that we do, because we were also, especially at that point early on, very much like a generalist agency. There was no good positioning. There was no good way of talking about ourselves, of building processes and hiring when you're doing like 10 different services for 10 different clients. Like it's impossible to scale anything doing that. So that's when it kind of all started to click for Codeless. And we actually split the company up. And my old business partner, we're still really good friends, but we just kind of started to realize like he was having a lot of success with development stuff over here. I had a lot of success with this nerdy content and SEO kind of intersection over here. And so we just kind of split it up and then doubled down in our respective areas, and both have taken off, thankfully, pretty well. Usurp rolled out of Codeless probably 5 or 6 years ago. So like roughly halfway through or halfway in. Once we started writing for a lot of big websites and working with a lot of big websites, we had those same people asking us if we could help feature them in places. And a lot of agencies still actually do this, but I never felt good about it, in that they'll just add other clients' links and mentions and other stuff into the content they're doing for another client, often without telling them. And that didn't sit well with me. And it's also stylistically a different sort of business model. And for all these reasons, that's why we ended up splitting it out into a separate company, like fully separate entity, separate team, separate kind of management team leadership. And both have been able to kind of like then grow in parallel and work together in some cases, because there is a lot of complementary overlap between, even on the Codeless side, if we're looking at keyword research or picking a topic, before we even write it, we're also assessing like, does this company have the ability to actually even rank for this thing or not? Yeah. And that's based on like the existing website strength, how strong the competitors are, the referring domains and quality of those that they're going to need. So it's kind of like that separate distribution piece that you need to factor in both sides of the same coin, so to speak. Wordable also evolved kind of organically, in that it's something we already did manually with people. Basically, it's a tool to help just automate the content publishing process and take care of all the like nerdy metadata for SEO, take care of compressing images, all that stuff. So we were working with a lot of big websites, and we would deliver them 10, 15, 20 Google Docs that were already approved and ready to go live. And then they would sit on it for multiple weeks, because they're like, who's going to take 30 minutes per article or per draft to upload it properly, format it properly, or they wouldn't do it properly, which would then also hurt the ability for that thing to perform. And so we were, at some point, we were just like, hey, we'll just do it for you, because you're slowing us down and you're slowing down our ability to like show results. And then this tool came up. And at the time, it was like a very much kind of WordPress oriented plugin. We rebuilt it so that we can connect other CMSs, do a lot more stuff to it, add a lot more automations and things. So it's something we use internally in addition to selling publicly too.
Yeah. Brad, that's an awesome story. And just a couple of things come up to me. One is the link aspect of those companies that would just place their other clients as anchor text and select pages. It's hilarious. It reminds me of web dev agencies that still do this. They put the footer, like, oh, wow, your referring domains are really quality for your agency website. And then all of them are their client's footer.
In the footer. Yeah, in the footer.
It's amazing 100%. That clients are like, why are you like, I don't want you to externally link to your website from my new website.
For sure. Yeah, dude, people still do that. Link building space is like the underbelly of the internet, it's like the Wild West. So yeah, it's hard to manage, because it's hard to do it well, though. If you do it well, it's still today, despite all the like BS you read on LinkedIn and other places, it still drives results. It's like pouring gas on the fire. If your content sucks to begin with, your site sucks to begin with, and add all the links you want, it's not going to help. But It still drives tremendous results. The challenge is doing it well at scale. That's the really, really hard part, and doing it in a way that isn't spammy, that are real websites with real traffic. And it is a little bit more PR in that sense, where the best links often come from relationships with real sites and real people, and not just whatever, paying a couple bucks to like some whatever dude on Fiverr or a bunch of PBNs and crap.
How many times do you get hit up? I mean, you're probably still, hey, we can do link building for you, and you're a link building agency, and I'm sure people
every day. Like, yeah. Same with SEO. Like we'll get like SEO audits of our sites. It's like the same. Yeah, do it all day, every day. It's just the internet like eats itself. It's just a wild place. We chose to work on.
I love it. I love it. You mentioned like maintaining quality at scale. The link piece, yeah. I mean, like that's a huge factor. And then the same thing with the content production. You're doing a significant amount of production. How do you maintain, obviously, the quality, but also keep the team motivated? Is there a gamification added? Hey, this posted really well. Does that excite the team? Does it definitely kind of rejuvenates or gets the client excited? Talk to me a little bit about that, how you scale things, because that's your model entirely with these brands, right? To get them going significant at a significant clip.
Yeah, for sure. Because something I learned like early on, and you've probably seen this too. It's like people always want to ask about like quality versus quantity, and that's not the right conversation, because it's both. The answer is both. Like any big website on the internet, any big brand on the internet has both. So it's not cool. It's not cool enough to just be like, oh, we're gonna do one article a week, or we're gonna have like one outreach campaign running today. But it's also not cool to do the opposite, which is what a lot of people are doing, is like, oh, let's just do 1,000 crappy AI pages, and then expect people to actually remember any of that, or anyone to click on it. Or so that was something like a light bulb that clicked, I guess, early on for me. It was like, oh no, you need to figure out a way to do both, and if you can do both well, it's not easy, because when you push one, the other, they're like opposing forces. So when you try to increase scale or quantity, quality naturally dips. Sure. Unless you get really, really, really nerdy and granular about like operational details. And so I always say this, it's like people don't have a writer problem, because that's what everyone like says and thinks. Like they think it's the writer's problem.
Need a writer, yeah.
No, it's not it's not a writer problem. You have a delegation problem. Like you don't have good processes. You don't have anything for us to work off of. You don't have style guidelines that are actually good. You have personas in air quotes, but like their household income tells me nothing about how to write for them, their motivations, their fears. Sure. So that's the problem that we're often solving with companies, and which they don't always realize, because everyone in marketing focuses on like creativity and all the fun stuff. Oftentimes it's just like building out the actual operational kind of workflows and processes that they need in order to then turn around and train 5, 10, 15, 25 people to write for them in a way that they are happy with too.
It's going to be effective. Yeah. What's a couple of things to come to mind there is around for your client ICP. Hey, this, on paper, they're amazing. And then you get under the hood, as you mentioned, and it's a total disaster, right? Yeah. Are you mentioned kind of already this, but I just want to make sure I'm tracking correctly. Are you the ones that are building out all of these processes and conducting training? That's a core offering for Codeless as well as USERP?
For sure. It's a little bit of both. We're often taking what they have and building on top of it too. So some good brands, some savvy brands already have a lot of like good stuff to work with. Yeah. That makes our life significantly easier. We are often still building on top of that though, because you still have to translate it. Like a lot of time, if you work with one, like most in-house marketers, SEOs, take your pick. They work with like, I don't know, 3-4 positions over a 10-year period, let's say. So they often know way more about their individual company they're working on, and the nuance and it's all this stuff's in their head or in the company. Like it's all in their head. It's all the intangible stuff that they all know and kind of drink the Kool-Aid on a daily basis. The benefit you get from like an agency or working at an agency is I've seen high hundreds, if not over thousands of websites. And so we have like pattern matching and actual experience and understanding like what does or doesn't work in a scalable fashion with like the most or highest probability And so it's just about blending those two as best as possible. It's taking what they're good at and they know best, and then figuring out the best way to actually translate that and build out a team too. So the other funny thing with software companies that I've noticed and picked up on is a lot of software companies are actually pretty small, especially their marketing teams in terms of number of people and the formality that they have, unless they're like a public company. So they might have, they might have like 70% engineers, and then they might have like 5% of their headcounts marketers. So you might work with a big brand, but there's like 4 people
It's small,
working on marketing and SEO. And I guarantee you, if you're at that scale, you do not have good internal documentation or good internal workflows. Why? Because you're relying on a few really good people that have already been there for a long time and already know how everything works. But if you try to scale anything, again, you're going to need a team of 10 plus people, designers, editors, writers, outreach people, strategists, like you're going to need like the full package. And to properly get those people up to speed and delivering at a quality level that you're happy with is going to require just a lot of internal resources, documentation, iterative feedback. So as we get feedback from people on a link or an article outline or a draft, we're continually re-documenting and re-updating our stuff and then messaging it to people internally. So it's just kind of a constant iteration and improvement over time. And some companies are bought in, and that works really well, and they understand like these challenges. Some don't. And so it's also a stylistic fit we're often looking for in terms of clients we're working with.
Yeah.
They need to understand that their very unique, strong opinions in their head aren't scalable. It's in a format that is easy to delegate. And that's where I come back to this like delegation problem, not a writer problem per se, or, insert the blank on any one role or function.
Yeah. Do you see a lot of companies? I mean, this is kind of a broad statement to a certain extent, but and merely maybe fairly basic, but at the executive level, if the executives are bought in with marketing, obviously it's going to reflect in the internal team structure. I mean, for a software company, what we deal with as well, it's like there's so much about the tech, as it should be, right?
Right.
But they neglect their own presence on the marketing side, right?
Yep.
So clearly the reason why they need you guys or us in terms of agency side, do you see that one? And an additional point around, talk to me about their reality in terms of results, right? So they're accustomed perhaps to this small team structure, and they're about to invest a significant amount of money with you guys, right? Yeah. How do you deal with that? Is it usually a combination of both Codeless work as well as Usurp, or is it usually a single agency and then it evolves into two? That those brands could benefit from both services, but perhaps budget shift, or they need you to develop the rapport initially and showcase the performance. I know I just asked you like 5 questions there. So
no, it's cool. Yeah. I think I was tracking.
Yeah.
It's always a little bit of both, in that companies often come to one of our brands for one reason or the other. They usually need the other thing too. But whether or not they're ready to do something about it or tackle it or address it is another story. Sometimes too, there is like a bigger need, which is also totally legit, in that, like, again, all the links in the world aren't going to help you if you have like 10 pages on your website. Like it might help a little bit, but if you don't have like non-branded, unbranded content and topics in the first place, then all you're going to be building links to is like your homepage and your service page that nobody cares about because they don't understand what the need is for your thing in the first place. So it's always a little bit of both, but usually there is like a more obvious starting point, if that makes sense. One of your other questions was 100% like companies need to be bought in, or executives need to be bought in on this, because also SEO takes a long time. It's also very noisy. There's constantly new things happening, which is why probably companies a lot of times just default to paid, because it's easier and in a lot of different ways, but it's less cost effective over the long term because it's auction based, and CPCs are only going up. Exactly. And like for all these reasons, like, yeah, cool, you could turn ads on today, see clicks tomorrow, tell pretty quickly whether or not you're getting like leads and sales within a week and what those rates are and all that kind of stuff. But again, you usually hit diminishing returns, and if you can optimize it or optimize spend, it's usually only for the short term. until competitors catch up, until new people come in, until your CPCs double within the next like 3 years, like all these other kind of challenges too. So every channel has its own issues and problems and stuff. But with SEO especially, the other weird thing with SEO or funny thing is that it's often easier to provide bigger, faster results for bigger companies that are already doing it successfully too. Mm-hmm. So it's like who needs the most work on the SEO side? The smaller brands,
but they
also
don't
at the biggest disadvantage, who has the least amount to spend, who is more concerned with short-term results. It's the smaller companies. And so that's also the catch-22 here that we're always trying to figure out with, how to navigate best with those sorts of companies, and just being super upfront and set expectations of like, cool, if you want to do that, like here's either what it's going to take, or here's how long you have to wait, and here's how we track it, and here's the leading indicators we look at too. That's another big part of all the stuff we do is like traffic is a lagging indicator, sales is a lagging indicator, especially in SEO and content and even link building. The traffic you see in analytics or wherever you're looking at it, or your team's looking at it, is the byproduct of the work that was done 2 months before, 3 months before, 12 months before. It's kind of like, yeah, dude, it's kind of like the stupid expression I always come back to is like losing weight. If you if you're just focusing on the number on a scale, that's not always the best indicator of whether or not you are making improvements. Because what you're not tracking or seeing is like the caloric value of the food you're eating, the number of calories or other like attributes around nutrition, how much you're walking, where your blood pressure is, what your body fat percentage is, like
also ways more. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so we always, especially with SEO and content, because content tends to be a longer lift or longer process than just the link building side in terms of like that ROI and when that kicks in and how to think about it. But yeah, it always comes back to me to, it's similar but different to losing weight. And it's like, cool, if you want to use Ozempic and you need it, go for it. It's not going to like change the underlying problems. It's going to mask them temporarily. So cool. You want to drop 10,000 shitty AI articles on your website and just to get the ball rolling, makes sense, right? No problem with that. But if you think like that's going to help take you into the top 3 for a bottom of funnel keyword that competitors are spending millions of dollars on every year, and the average domain rating of those top 5 competitors is 80 plus, like good luck,
Good luck.
Like, it's not gonna work.
Yeah, it's it's wild what's going on there. A lot of things come up. I'm curious about the outreach piece. You and I were kind of joking before the call started, and just about how saturated our DMs are. It's not like a brag by any means. Let's be clear. So many cool DMs, so many great in-mails. Like who responds in-mails, by the way, on LinkedIn, like 0.0%. So I'm curious, how do you guys break through the noise? Like you have relationships already, right, that you've built up. So is that really the core angle? Are you, how are you breaking through the noise? What's some advice for all those those link builders out there that just continue to blow up DMs, never get a response, but they think that you want to get another 5 or 6 DMs just in case you weren't sure about responding before?
It actually works really well because I measure my self-worth based on the number of DMs that I get, actually.
Yes. Oh, wow. So yep.
I feel amazing.
That's
most days because of that. There's a lot of things. So I'll get into like some tactics, but the biggest thing to outreach is a numbers game, 100%. So that's the unavoidable issue or problem or challenge. Not to be too preachy or like whatever.
Here we go.
The secret about this or manifest it, but like link builders should be building relationships, not links.
Mm-hmm.
Like the best links come from like actual marketing campaigns and tactics and ideas and cross collaborations and other things, not like, hey, you have a 404 error on your site. Can you swap that out with this one? Like that, like no one cares.
Here's a better article that you should consider. Yeah.
Nobody cares. Those sorts of tactics might work with like very uneducated websites, or unsophisticated, I should say, not uneducated. That's poor choice of words, but like unsophisticated when it comes to like digital marketing. Sure. So if you're doing that to like some random, more like offline traditional space that they're not used to receiving those, then like, yeah, maybe the hit rate's a little bit better. But if you're trying to like, if you're like in a competitive space like tech, and you're trying to reach out to like DR 60, 70 plus sites, Like they also get 10 of those a day. So
Yeah.
it's not going to work. Like it's just not going to work. Part of that then also is understanding like how do you actually help that person first before you ask them for something to them to do something for you. Like how think this is so stupid, but I feel like people on the internet, people that work on tech and on the internet, I think lack emotional intelligence skill and like social skills. So they just like divorce it from real world interactions. Like you would never just walk up to someone on the street and be like, hey bro, Tyler, we've never met before, but like it would really help me if you were like to give me this or to like buy me lunch. You'd be like, screw off, you know?
Yeah, get out of here.
Who the hell are you? But it's like if I'm like, hey Tyler, nice to meet you. Like, what are you looking for? Can I help you find something? Or if you're actually trying to help the other person first, then law of reciprocity, you can eventually be like, hey bro, can you help me like get a little love on this link or on this post, or whatever it is. The other funny thing too that people don't talk about is like the actual brand that you're trying to mention or get featured has a huge bearing on this too. So you could take the same exact outreach template, same exact email templates, same sequences, whatever, do it for a brand, people that's like a household name, do it for another one. You're going to get two totally different results.
Yeah.
This is why it's also funny to me when I look at all these LinkedIn gurus and influencers who've only worked on big websites, because I can probably tell you like they're probably the worst marketers out there. It's almost a negative signal. If you're a good marketer, you've been able to work with like no-name brands and establish them. If you've only worked at HubSpot, dude, like how hard is it to do link building for HubSpot?
Yeah,
right. Give me a freaking, like, I don't know if we're cussing on this, but give me an effing break. Seriously.
Of course. Oh, how dare you? Yeah. No, you're
like
right.
Like, don't talk to me or don't talk to people like you're the expert, because you literally don't know what you're talking about, because you're the easiest gig in the marketing world.
Yeah. No, that's such a great point too. Not to throw shade at the big brands by any means.
That's just an example. I'm not like,
it's an example.
Talking shit about HubSpot.
Yeah. No, I mean, HubSpot's been on the news lately a lot with the SEO news, right? They're tanking their blog traffic, things like that.
Being an SEO influencer, by the way, is like being the thinnest kid.
Yeah.
It's like, dude,
these are gold, Brad.
You guys are trying way too hard for something that literally the entire world does not care about.
Yeah, it's wild. Well, I mean, I brought this up in another podcast we had a little while ago, just around, people you follow on LinkedIn or X, they're obsessed with LLMs and doing all these things. They're so much far ahead of you. That's like the tiniest subset, right? That exists. That doesn't reflect 99% of the world out there, what they're doing and what those individuals are actively researching. I had a comment in my LinkedIn feed. I'm going to respond to it just around how, I don't use LLMs at all. Or sorry, I don't use Google anymore. I just use LLMs.
Yeah.
It's just that's how it is. It's like, okay, you do that.
Yeah.
That's great. And trust me, we're bullish. You and I are both bullish on AI concepts. We'll talk about it more in a little bit here. But it's like market share is also a thing, right? And this whole thing called Google still has significant. Hey, I'm all for audience base and making sure that individuals are finding and understanding how users are conducting searches across social, across forums, across all different types of platforms. SEO is evolving 100%. But to say that SEO is dead or any of those
bullshit
concepts, like, let's be clear. So,
dude, SEO dies every year for the past 20 years.
Yep, exactly. That's
like, I worked on websites during Panda and Penguin, which was like bad content, bad links, if you want to summarize it like that, as crudely as that. Like, it's no different, change. Like, yes, changing, it's evolving, but like people still need to look for things. The funniest thing too is like all this crap about like how do you rank in an LLM? And it's like, have a big brand. That's what it always comes back to, like stupid aphorisms like that. It's like, cool, bro. How do you build a big brand? By doing all the other crappy traditional marketing stuff we've been talking about like forever. Like you can't have one without the other. Like this whole like gaming mentality of like, it just makes my head explode.
It's the classic, or like you go to a conference and it's, look what Apple and Coke and HubSpot, have done. Yeah. Like, come on. Like, again, show them to your further example. One thing that comes to mind is a point you made earlier, just around when you got started, you were writing for free. I'm curious, I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs that are getting started, a lot of consultants that want to start up their own business or a fully fledged agency. What's some recommendations you have or advice around getting your name out, establishing your own brand? Is it writing for free? Is it putting your credibility out there? Is it establishing deeper relationships? Yeah, talk to me about that.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, if you are selling services, like what are we all selling when we sell services? We're selling the intangible.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're selling ourselves in the sense that like people need to actually understand or hope that we have credibility and know what we're doing, talking about.
Exactly.
So people then, how do the best clients find you? They find you through evidence of your work, which needs to be associated with big notable brands or people in their sphere of influence. And by an extension of that, like personal referrals or actual relationships too. So writing for me was just an easy way to get into that because again, I think a lot of people start an agency after having worked at an agency. And so they already have some relationships. Maybe they already have a little bit of a track record in terms of like clients. I didn't do that, which is both good and bad. And then I look at maybe the agency world differently or the agency business differently because I don't have any like actual experience working at an agency other than my own. But I also didn't have any relationships, especially early on. So for me, it was a way writing and like leaning more into like a little bit of speaking and stuff and getting better at it too, by the way. That's a big thing people don't talk about or think about. Like I was terrible at all this stuff. I'm less bad at it now.
Yeah.
But I was terrible at speaking. I was terrible. I didn't know how to like deliver. I didn't know how to hone a message. I didn't know how to speak extemporaneously about questions like this that we didn't talk about beforehand. We're just kind of spitballing on them.
These are scripted though. I thought.
Actually, no, ChatGPT actually told me what to say. Yeah, I'm literally just reading.
You got it running on the side. Yeah.
I'm literally just reading like 100 prompts. I prepped 9 hours for this, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no, so it's like, so I actually, so what do you, again, it's like anything. It's like, what do you actually, if you want to build, like, you want to build for the long term, I went to Toastmasters. Like I actually worked on public speaking. I actually worked on writing. I actually worked on building up my underlying skill set to do it better. Then when I reach out to a big website to write for free or to, write for a paid gig early on, it was very easy to convince them in air quotes because I didn't have to convince them. They were like, oh, you write for this site already? Cool. Yeah, I would love for you to write for me too. It just became like very easy and very natural. And so it's kind of a double-edged sword where it's like, yes, you do have to put in the yards or the time of doing free work for people. That's just the nature of the world often. But the other side of it is like, you actually need to upskill yourself at the same time. And even like, not to be all philosophical about it, but like LLMs and all this shit, it's teaching people the opposite. So think of like kids in school using LLMs to write papers. Can you write a paper, an essay, which don't get me wrong, it's probably a waste of what that curriculum should be. Like that's also a valid
that's
argument, 100%.
Yeah.
But like if the purpose of going to school is to learn and you are using LLMs to fly under the radar to get through the busy work, totally get it on the one hand. Yeah, school curriculum should be different. But you're also not actually learning how to get better at that thing. And so often people today too, that always talk about like, oh, AI content's pretty good. It's like, that's because you don't actually understand what good content looks like,
quality,
what goes into it.
Is,
so you don't actually have the skill to judge whether or not it's good. And this is the challenge or problem I feel like is people today rush to the shortcut and the shiny object and the tactic at the expense of actually building the skill set that I think is going to be more valuable long term. The problem is it sucks and it takes longer. And it's kind of like a windy road. It's not like a linear process that like, oh, I'm going to get 10% better tomorrow because that's what my spreadsheet tells me. No, it's sometimes you do it good, sometimes you do it bad. You got to reflect on it. It's not the human experience is organic. It's not like, ones and zeros.
And these are things that, tenets that we've adopted at Session and myself. And, again, shout out to you, Brad. I mean, you saw me when I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna start my own thing. And you were, you did free work, right? And I've adopted that for a while. There's this other edge where it's like there's all these LinkedIn pundits are like, never do free work, always get paid. And I understood that for a little while. I was kind of juggling with that, but also I was just like, you never know, right? And the stuff that you did for me was invaluable. The stuff that I've done for clients, like record a quick Loom video, give my perspective here and there. It's not like a complete analysis or hours of time. It's 5-10 minutes, and it's for them. It's invaluable. And those are the brands. Those are the the client evangelists that continue to come. Oh, I remember Brad. I remember Brad when he did that, and that was 10 years ago. I wonder if he's still doing that. He's still top of mind. It's crazy, right? And so those are the things that I just, I love when you said that, because that's something you did for me. So I'll always be indebted to a certain extent. I think
that's because you're blackmailing me, but thank you anyway.
Yeah. Well, totally.
I didn't feel like I had a choice or an option.
I think I bought you a nice dinner or two when you were out here, so I think we're probably good.
You did, actually. You did.
Yeah.
We've had plenty of romantic dates over the years.
Well, I love a random segue, but yeah, I took Brad out to sushi after he came back from Hawaii, right? And I was like, yeah, let's go get sushi. And he's like, yeah, sure. And I was like, dude, you can get way better food there. But, pretty funny.
No, it's cool. I like getting my raw fish from the middle of the country. It's
cool. I think
that completely landlocked.
That restaurant recently closed, by the way. I think there was some issues.
Oh, yeah. Thanks. No wonder I felt sick after that.
Random one that we could probably take another 2 hours on. But let's say Codeless, you had to start it from scratch today. I know you did some big shakeups, so you don't have to tell everyone about that recently, but I'm curious, like what would be some of those core principles that you would abide by? I think probably the same ones you had before, but certain things that because we've all made a lot of mistakes. Let's be very clear. We're all still making mistakes, we're trying to get it right. But what are some of those couple items, those 2-3 items that you would have changed if you started it today from scratch?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's there is like the boring answer of like so like some of our systems don't connect. Meaning like, hey, how we do keyword research, topic planning over here doesn't work well with how we actually get that information to our project management tool so that the people working on it are going to know what they're doing. But like what all this stuff I've come to realize boils down to is actually leadership, which again sounds very like lame. And it's both my fault in those cases, which is also an important part to reflect on, is that am I directly responsible of why those systems didn't connect properly?
Mm-hmm.
No, like I wasn't the one like doing it or making the decision.
Sure. Yeah.
But ultimately it's my fault in that I didn't get those people and those teams to work together better and or have the right people in the right roles. And again, I think a lot of people just miss that today, especially online, especially in tech, because we're all focused on scale and like all this other crap. Getting people to work effectively together is like the hardest part, but also the most effective, worthwhile investment. Mm-hmm. And that's not, and then the hard part too is it's not like slogans. It's not ping pong.
Yeah.
It's not, it's not bullshit on LinkedIn. It's not like it's like actually just how people interact with each other and one another, and how you or I as a leader willingly admit when we screwed up and take the bullet for people. Mm-hmm. But even like what happens every day too, when we see it, we work with clients where you can just tell like, oh yeah, these people don't like each other. It's giving us misdirection because these people aren't even on the same page. And so we're getting conflicting feedback now. We don't know our team doesn't know like which way to handle it. And it all stems back to like people not communicating effectively and or trusting one another. And that's ultimately still almost always one of the biggest bottlenecks that then translates or manifests to big differences of opinion when it comes to more like the tactical things, or like I mentioned earlier, like a system not connecting properly, or the inputs over here not lining up with the other people over here, the other team that's going to need that work, and all this marketing stuff. To do SEO well, you need to do marketing well. And to do that, you need differences of skill sets and opinions and people to all be looking at the same problem and coming together. And again, that's very like probably boring answer. But
no, I think it makes sense. I mean,
the biggest learning experience I've had is just knowing when to like sense that people aren't working together well, which the underlying reason for that is often a lack of trust. And it's like the environment then that we have to try to rebuild or reshape to aid that and enable that better.
Yeah, easier said than done, as we've both understood, but leading with authenticity, intentionality, transparency, again, another easier said than done component, but I think you just able to reflect on that. I mean, we've all been through those massive shifts in our organizations, and try to get it right, and essentially, take a quote that I'm not responsible for, but like fail forward mentality, right? Try to
because it's inevitable. Like better. yeah, you're going to get things right. You're going to get things wrong. It's
Yeah.
like, that's fine. How do you learn then? How do you grow from it? Like
Yeah.
you see this too. You see this a lot in like literally every single company everywhere. If people don't feel comfortable admitting when they made a mistake or screwed up, they'll look out for themselves and then they'll try to like brush it under the rug or try to make it come across as not as big of a deal as it is. That's actually a bigger problem than the actual mistake they made because it doesn't allow them or us to learn from it and improve it and correct it in the future. So you actually want people to admit mistakes. You actually want people to surface problems and issues. You actually want people to be discussing these things so that we can all learn from it and get better at it. When that kind of stuff is like swept under the rug, or when people are finger pointing and being like, "Oh, you messed that up, dude. Like you screwed that up. That's your fault." And it's like, yeah, well, did you have all the information they needed? Like, what was the disconnect that we didn't do to set that person up better? But if people don't just feel comfortable admitting mistakes or calling out errors when they pop up and like just owning up and talking about it, it'll never get better. It'll just keep getting worse by definition.
Totally. Brad, wrapping up some things here. Great stuff, obviously, and really always impressed of what you've been able to accomplish. Talk to us about how you get inspired, right? Long walks on the beach, and how you get inspired, and then who inspires you on a continuous basis. We've all gravitated towards certain personalities out there in the space. I'm also curious on tools you're using and products, things like that perhaps help inspire you or that you're gravitating towards now. The classic question around tools, but yeah, inspiration around people too. I'm curious about that.
Yeah, it's a really good question. You hit me with
besides me.
All these deep philosophical questions.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, Tyler, you're number one, always in my heart and in my head.
Makes sense.
At all times.
Makes sense.
Like before I do something, I ask myself, what would Tyler do?
In this situation? Exactly. The opposite. Yep.
Yeah. So other than you, I don't know. I think it's maybe cliche, but like my family, my wife, kids, family, parents, siblings, like why, again, we're all going to die. Make fun of like SEO influence. I make fun of SEO influencers because it's like, well, nobody cares, bro. Like it's not that cool. So it's like, there's no one tool. There's no like influencer that impresses me that much. Not that I think I'm cool or smart or better, but it's just like, we're all going to die, So, what's inspiring to me is like actually making a difference in people's lives too. So, why would I do free work for you, Tyler? Even besides like the blackmail and the questionable pictures that you have of me on file. It's about like if you like are able to have any sort of success, you should be paying it forward and helping people grow.
Yep.
Lording your high opinion over everyone else or pointing out when everyone else screws up or makes a mistake in the industry, which is fairly common and rampant in SEO, especially, is not cool. Like it's not actually that cool to be that way. You should be actually making improvements on other people's lives. So being able to like work with team members that you like and respect, and that's a two-way street, and actually being able to see like a measurable impact on things they've been able to do in their lives because of like opportunities that you've provided is also gives more added meaning to this other than just like money, which is a scorecard. Client success is a part of that and a byproduct of that, in that in a service company, our success as a company stems from client success. So one thing needs to lead to another. But being able to, just see like you're being able to be involved in your kids' lives and not be answering emails to some crazy client on a Sunday or being able to like help people on your team grow and get better and make significantly more money than they thought they were going to, or much faster than they thought they were going to. That to me is really cool and fun. And that makes like the service. I've been doing services for a long time. It's kind of a hamster wheel. I didn't get into it because I was called to do it. I got into it because I needed to make money to like pay the bills and provide a life for my family. So for me now at this point, it's like, why still have service companies? It's like, because it's a cool way to give people opportunities and then have us be able to like learn how to stay up to speed with the constant evolution of everything and work on other interesting projects on the side or whatever that are maybe more long-term in nature. But service companies enable or need teams to be able to do that sort of work, and being able to provide like again, platform's like a terrible word today, but being able to provide like a platform for people for that is fun and rewarding.
Yeah, it's great. I resonate with a lot of that, and I think that the family aspect is key, and continuing to be a part of our kids' lives as much as possible, and then be able to benefit your team's lives and really grow them, not only from the financial standpoint, but also making sure that they can achieve their own goals, personal and professional goals, and that's really cool to see.
For sure, yeah. Like I fire clients all the time. Like people ask me if I have growth goals. People ask me if I'm in like business owner groups. They ask me like, "What's your exit strategy?" I'm like, I don't know. I don't have one. And they're like, I have like growth goals. Yeah, sure. But I'm not so wedded to that I want to work with like people I hate talking to.
I know.
Or people that my team hates talking to.
No, life's too short for that stuff, right? It's like,
like what's the point?
Yeah.
If we're not aligned in what we're trying to do or see and work on, if we don't enjoy getting on a call or talking about this stuff or dealing with problems in the right way, then like, what was the point?
What are we doing? Yeah.
The good thing when you own your own thing is like you can make those more subjective decisions. To benefit the greater good or benefit the long term at the expense of like the short term. And that's fine.
Brad, excellent stuff as always. Really appreciate your time. I know you're a busy guy. For people that don't know, Brad has 4 kids. There's a lot of kids over there. I have 2, double. I'm
trying to get the tax breaks. I'm trying to stack tax breaks. So more dependents,
So many. Yeah. Brad, tell people where they can find you besides lingering in their DMs. Asking for a link. Where can people find you and get in contact with you and talk about the websites basically from your brands?
Yeah, my company stuff is codeless.io, userp.io, and then wordable.io. I have some stuff on LinkedIn that I look at, I don't know, once every 6 months or so. I'm accessible, but I don't know. I'm not that active because I have other interests and things going on. So check out the companies and the teams and the stuff we're doing. But I'm not the most exciting person in the entire world either.
Well, and you can't send Brad a picture or any type of like meme or anything on his phone because you got the flip phone. What's the phone called again? I
have a dumb phone. It's called a light phone.
Light phone.
LIGHT. Yeah, so I don't have a smartphone.
Yep.
I purposely, the more time I spend outside and less time on the computer, I feel like a happier person. And I have to work on the computer. I have to be on the computer a lot. But when I'm at home or when I'm traveling or doing stuff, I think it's healthy to not be like constantly scrolling and getting your dopamine spiked every waking second that we're all trying to enjoy this time.
Always some good lessons, Brad. Thanks again for your time. Brad didn't know this, but he just signed up as being a recurring guest for the next 2-3 years. Once a week, he will be.
Dude, you promised co-host before I got on this.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. No equity.
This sounds like a bait and switch.
No equity play.
Like a bait and switch.
Thanks again, Brad. Really appreciate your time, man.
Thank you.
Of course. See you, man.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to Built to Convert. If you're serious about growth, don't just listen. Subscribe, leave a review, and follow us for new episodes that drop straight into your feed. Until next time, keep building.